Okay, this video is to go over where our pelvic floor even is and how to turn it on. So I want you to imagine a hammock that is living in the bottom of your pelvis. It's a diamond-shaped muscle that wraps from your pubic bone to your sit bones to your tailbones. Now, the analogy that I really like to use is that we have a few stories on a building. Your pelvic floor is created of a few layers, so think superficial, middle, and deep layers. And they connect up into the pubic bone, which is there where your core muscles attach. So when we're figuring out isolation work, we're going to be working at the basement up to the first floor. So relaxing the pelvic floor and engaging it all the way up to the deep layers. And then we're going to work on figuring out where the core is. Once we've figured out those two, we want to pair them together because our core and pelvic floor work together to contain pressure. Okay? So remember, our job right now is not to use the belly. Our job is to isolate the pelvic floor muscles. So I want you to either sit. I find lying down to be the most comfortable position to figure it out because you're not working against gravity, but you can do it however you want at your house. Feedback can be very helpful. So if you want to put your hand there, if you want to put your hand inside of there, if you want to get your partner to help you, if you have a toy to put in there, some sort of feedback can be really helpful to squeeze against. And this is the joy of you being in your room and me being in mine. Okay? So let's think about there is front, middle, and back fibers to our pelvic floor. So often you'll hear cues like try and stop the flow of your pee. Those would be the anterior fibers. When you do that, play with that cue and figure out, can I feel my urethra almost kind of shrinking up towards my pubic bone? It should feel very small. It shouldn't feel very dramatic. More importantly, can I let it go? So a lot of us tend to be kind of grippy. So I want you to contract and let it go. And just notice what happens. Second cue, try and stop a fart from coming out. Imagine you're at a party and you gotta stop it from happening. You should feel a contraction around your rectum that is contracting up and in. Okay, let it go. Now, if you've ever worn tampons in the past or has sex with something inside of your body, penetrative intercourse, try and imagine hugging around that tampon or object and then letting it go. So we've now engaged the front, back, and middle. But when we're doing pelvic floor work, we want to be engaging from all areas, and we want to think of a squeeze as well as a lift. Now, I'll preface by saying it's way more gentle than you think. And when you're doing it, you shouldn't notice your legs, your belly, or your glutes doing the job, okay? So find your position, and I'm gonna cue you through a few repetitions, and we're gonna see if we can figure it out. On your breath in, I want you to let it go, and on your breath out, I want you to engage. So on your breath in, I want you to visualize those hammock muscle lengthening, relaxing down towards the floor or away from your body. And as you exhale, I want you to contract gently and hug up as if you're stopping your fart, stopping your pee, drawing a tampon into your body. Exhale, let it go. No, inhale, let it go. Sorry, exhale, contract and lift. Stop a fart, stop your pee, draw that tampon up. Inhale, release it. Try that again. Now I want you to imagine that you're drawing your tailbone towards your pubic bone without moving anything in your body as you breathe out. And let it go. Try one more like that, drawing your tailbone towards your pubic bone. You'll feel a little zip from the back all the way to the front, and it should feel like it's lifting up towards where your low belly, where your underwear line would be if you were wearing low-rise underwear, I guess. Okay, now, if you're trying so hard that you're noticing your belly gripping, that's too hard. Start more gentle. You really need to figure out first, what is online. If it's something new to you, that coordination can be that neuromuscular connection can be really weak, or you just haven't thought about it before. So I want you to spend a week daily trying to do 2 sets of 10 of contracting it and letting it go. If the breath is too confusing to you, that's okay. Just start with turning it off and turning it on again. Turning off and turning it on again. Repeat, 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 repeat until you start to feel like it's a little bit easier to do, or you can get some feedback from the before mentioned options, or go see a pelvic floor physio because they can also help test this part of your muscle. Let's go over that one more time, and I'm gonna give you a few more cues. I'm gonna cue it without the breath, but remember, releasing is with your breath in, Exhaling is to engage, okay? So I want you to let it go and imagine each opening is a circle and it's relaxing wide as you release. As you engage, I want you to draw those circles shut and draw them up in towards your body and let it go. Put your hands on your stomach and make sure that the work is coming from inside of your pelvis. It should feel like firming up, not sucking in, okay? Let it go. Now, I want you to imagine that you have a straw in your vaginal opening and you're trying to suck up something through the straw. Sometimes that helps people feel it a little bit deeper, all the way up to the first floor, and then let it go. One more time, going from the basement to the ground floor, up to the first floor. Let it go, and let it go more. Now, I'm just gonna finish off by saying the reason we have a basement is because when you are up and about, your pelvic floor is a little bit on. It shouldn't be clenching. It should just be working against gravity. If you're lying down, it's usually very relaxed. When we have pelvic floor issues, we tend to hold a little bit of tension because we're like, oh, if I squeeze, then pee won't come out, or I feel a little bit safer if it's tight. It's also tighter when we're anxious or in pain or nervous or whatever. So breathing down into the basement is a nice way to get a little bit more relaxation before we do more contraction. What we don't want is to be always working above ground, creating more and more tightness in the muscle and restricting the muscle's range of motion. So make sure that after every video, you're taking a few breaths to let go of your pelvic floor, letting it go down to the basement to release its tension. And this is also something you can do or should do between every repetition. Remember that a long and strong pelvic floor muscle is the best, okay? Good luck. Go and try the strength and endurance videos, see where you're at with that, and I will see you soon.